So walk us through as how in this very complex development into a full commercial go-to-market, how do the sponsors and the CDMOs think about, are they think about that stage where commercial compliance becomes important, supply chain becomes important?
Yeah, so it's everybody, all the projects that we advise on they all start from somewhere. They all start at the beginning. Everybody's come up with this great idea, and we're going to take that into clinic, and then we're going to commercialize it, and we're going to be able to do all these great things with it. And so when you start this development journey, it is very important to now that the DSCSA is active, that investigators and developers start thinking about where do the reagents come from that I'm using to develop my product, at what stage, and am I going to be able to trace where that has come from? And what you see is that as you go through this development timeline, out of development of the process, proof of concept, into the first clinical study, and then you go to the second clinical study, eventually get into validation. Once you get your validation done and you get your approval for market authorization, that if you don't have anything traceable, you're not going to be able to get that market authorization. And so it becomes a very expensive endeavor not to have looked at this early on, as early as possible, because having to redesign everything around finding a reagent that you're now able to trace sets you back tremendously in terms of timeline, but more importantly in terms of cost spent and opportunity lost by the time you finally reach the market. So it's you can think of it almost like a I always like this analogy. If you like mustard, right? The mustard seed is such a minuscule, tiny little thing that grows into this big event, right? In big tree and so forth. So think of it as a mustard seed that if you don't catch this early enough, it's going to grow into massive problem that you're going to have to then try and sort out.
That's true. So really a lot of conversations should have already happened pre-commercial, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you have these conversations, by the time you reach commercial, it's too late.